12 bodybuilders whose muscles exploded. 1. Ryan Crowley. The horrific moment a bodybuilder's pec rips away from his bone was caught on camera. In the video, Ryan Crowley from the UK is bench pressing while at a gym in Dubai. As he lowers the bar towards his chest, his muscle appears to pop outwards, away from his bone. They ended up having to reconstruct his pec muscle because the tendon had ripped off the bone, and the muscle then came off the tendon. 2. Eric Graves. Eric Graves is a bodybuilder from White Oak, Texas. He was trying to bench 500 pounds at the gym when his chest caved in and his right pectoral muscle exploded. The entire thing was caught on video. When you watch the video, you can see his right pec rise and then pop underneath his shirt. 3. Calum van Mauger. Late 2017, after a training session with Chris Bumstead, he decided to do some tandem curling with the classic physique competitor. The result was not that great. They try it once, the bar barely goes up. They try for a second curl and Calum's right biceps calls it a night and snaps. He went through surgery and recovery and was on his way to getting back in shape. Recovering from his biceps tear, he went to Australia and did some rock climbing. He lost his balance very quickly trying to descend from a cliff, and everything went horribly wrong. He tore his knee and partially re-tore his biceps. 4. Scott Mendelson. After breaking multiple world records in powerlifting, Scott was involved in a career-changing accident in 2013, which left permanent injuries to his left shoulder. He got himself injured badly during a powerlifting competition. He tore his pec when he was attempting to bench press 325 kilograms. The pec tear was so brutal that photos of it went viral throughout the internet. His entire upper torso had run purple with damage. This was maybe one of the most iconic pictures of a lifting injury to go viral. 5. Arlindo de Souza. Arlindo used to inject himself with mineral oil 3 times a week for 2 months. He also admits to having taken steroids, hormones, and horse vitamins. But once in the gym, his biceps exploded and detached from the bone. It took surgery and 6 months of rehab before the man's arm looked and functioned normally again. This is a good reason to stay natural. 6. Branch Warren. Branch Warren slipped on wet pavement and his right quadriceps tendon ruptured. After his injury, he was unable to train for a very long time. The reason that his muscle exploded from a simple slip and fall accident is because it was larger than the muscle was supposed to be. 7. Ron Norman. Ron Norman is a competitive bodybuilder who, after years of training, had 5 of his tendons explode. Most people would have quit bodybuilding after the first injury, but he kept going. After each injury, his orthopedic surgeon reattached his tendons with anchors that were drilled into his bones. This worked great until the next muscle exploded and he needed another surgery. 8. Greg Valentino. Greg had the biggest biceps in the world and was known for using steroids and other chemicals to make his biceps 28 inches around. He took so many steroids, often with dirty needles, that his bicep eventually got infected and it exploded. He recovered, however, he was arrested for using steroids and selling them to those around him. 9. Andre Gaidos. Andre Gaidos used steroids to help his physique, and he used them way too often. When he was 19 years old, he was outside of a store when his thoracic aorta exploded. He collapsed to the ground and died almost instantly. Sadly, he didn't live past his teens. Traces of steroids and testosterone were found in his blood. Andre's heart weighed 680 grams, 50% more than an average person whose heart weighs around 400 to 500 grams. 10. Edouard Spike Guerre. Edouard Guerre, a former Hollywood stuntman, bodybuilder, and model, used to consume 10,000 calories per day and spent 6 hours a day, 6 days a week in the gym. Edouard was so determined to have the most ripped body and the biggest muscles that he started abusing steroids. He used them so often that his heart exploded. He went to the gym one day as usual, and he spent the day there. When he got home, he started cooking dinner, and he felt like he was being stabbed in the heart. He collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. The doctors told him that his aorta exploded and it was a miracle that he was alive. In 2016, he died from a brain seizure. According to his family, the brain seizure was not related to his exploded heart in any way. 11. Tommy Dolan. Irishman Tommy Dolan was attempting to squat a whopping 280 kilograms during the Irish Powerlifting Championship when he suffered a gruesome injury. Tommy's quadriceps exploded, which basically means his quad muscle tore right off the bone. After spending a few months in the hospital, Tommy recovered and got back to full health. 12. Alexander Fedorov. He was considered to be the next big thing in bodybuilding before it all went wrong for Alexander Fedorov. We're not surprised he was training pretty hard at the time when he tore his pectoral muscle because he'd been trying to place at the Mr. Olympia contests. He worked hard to place in various Russian contests and had done so successfully twice in 2003. Unfortunately, it was during this year when he tore a muscle during a workout. He kept doing his best to overcome it, but the damaged muscle held him back to the extent that he had to give up lifting for a while after trying to push through the pain for 3 years. He was forced to take early retirement from the sport in 2006.